Ciao, ciao, good morning. Avanti ragazzi che sono già passate le 10.
A questo punto ripeti la regola.
Sì. Certo.
Dilla direttamente in italiano. Vuoi che ti faccia il linguaggio dei segni?
Is everyone here? Ciao.
Sì, ma anche guarda, con le mongolfiere uguali. Bisogna farlo in inglese,
Ciao.
quando poi le cose bisogna ripetere in italiano perché
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
fanno in inglese.
Ah, proprio direzionale, ok, va bene. Who's missing? Who is here? Ciao. Ragazzi, siete in ritardo, avanti, c'è ancora qualcuno? Buongiorno. Buongiorno. Hello, good morning. This is briefing for the 5th competition day of the qualifying GP and Italian Championship. Welcome, and I also have to turn off my phone ring. Welcome everyone. So next page please, Gianni. We have had, I was ready to talk about it, but unfortunately we haven't had any news from Isola d'Elba, so I have nothing to say for the moment. Yeah, but did they arrive? Did they arrive in it? No, today they're trying again.
Yesterday the wind was too strong to cross the sea, and so they are trying today. They try to just cross and come back and then be able to be here tomorrow. So I don't know, it depends very much on the weather today.
Thank you, Margot. I did not receive any news. Next page. This is the island. Beautiful place. The results are I think I published at 11 o'clock. So the results for day 4 will be official in a while. I have received a protest about the results. For the moment the results stand, my decision stands. Ho ricevuto una protesta sui risultati della classifica dell'altro ieri, cioè dell'ultimo giorno di gara. Dopo attenta valutazione e consulto con tante persone, la mia decisione rimane, la penalità inflitta durante la planata rimane, c'è una protesta ufficiale per ottenere la cancellazione. A questo punto non è più responsabilità mia, la mia decisione è con questo conclusa. Next page. Meteo briefing for today by Lieutenant Colonel Cristian Aiello. Puoi tenerlo tu così o te lo fissi come vuoi? Come sei comodo?
Mi metto qua così non copro.
Sì, se stai in questo punto va benissimo perché ti inquadrano.
Esatto.
E grazie.
Faccio io.
Fai tu? Ok, quando faccio segno. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. After the bad weather relaxing pause, we are ready to start again with a very good weather. The situation, you can clearly see for 12 UTC, the position of the frontal system which has crossed the alpine area yesterday, bringing in rains and thunderstorms. Has passed by, moving southeastward, and the high pressure in between is inserting and stabilizing the atmosphere with blue skies, let's say almost all over the alpine range. Also in the upper level circulation we can clearly see the circulation. I remind you that the wind flux follows the isolines at the upper level, so we have the anticyclonic circulation, this ridge of high pressure covering the Alps entirely for 12 UTC, stabilizing the atmosphere, because I remind you that in anticyclonic ridge we have prevailing descending motions, so they are suppressing most of the instability at the medium and high levels, so the instability is confined in the lower levels. Okay, the vortex is moving towards central southern Italy and then to Greece, moving southeastward. Next one. Okay, from the satellite you can clearly see the northern Italy, especially the Alpine Arch, practically completely free from clouds, apart from some residual bands north of the Italian border over the Austrian skies. Okay, a residual very light stow, and all the clouds are to the south. We will talk more in detail just to give you an idea about the Isola d'Elba flight in the next picture. Okay, first of all, we see no phenomena anymore in northern Italy. All the thunderstorm, these colored crosses on this central southern Adriatic and Ionian Sea area. Next one. Okay, in the visible, the Meteosat picture shows clearly only snow fields still in the Alps, so free of clouds. And since the winds are coming from here still quite strong from the northeast, they're crossing the Apennine range, producing mountain waves. So the situation at the moment is for practically blue skies between Livorno and Isola d'Elba, but we have a situation with waves which is forecast to decrease gradually during the second part of the day. Okay, all the phenomena are drifting with the vortex to the southeast, and the possibility after the model of light showers in the lower pre-Alps of Veneto, between Veneto and Trentino regions. Same situation early afternoon and decreasing, next one, late afternoon. So, talking about the upper winds, you see the quite strong, moderate to strong northeasterly winds coming from Slovenia into the North Adriatic and crossing the Apennine and descending down to the Elba area, while we are in the lee of the Alps with very weak winds, very weak and variable in the low around 700-800 meters. Next one, still very light and variable, so prevailing breeze regimes the central part of the day up to 1,500 meters. And also 2,000 meters, I have added the 2,000 meter forecast. And at 3,000 meters becomes prevailing light northerly wind, 5 to 10 knots. So the atmosphere now is dry in the lower levels, and deep convection is inhibited by the descending motion due to the upper air circulation. So we expect mainly only blue thermal, so blue skies, and an instability which for 10 Zulu, that is 12 local time, is limited to about 1,000 meters. Then with the solar heating, moving to the time of the daily maximum temperature, they should reach up to 1,600, 1,700 in the warmest part of the day. The freezing level, but we expect no clouds, is well higher, 2,800 meters about. No, this is for us, local. Okay. So blue sky for here, no significant weather, no significant phenomena, and light breeze winds. Also, the last observation in Malpensa shows a very light wind and variable. Cav OK, temperatures at the moment was 16, dew point 0.5, so dry air. And the QNH is 1016, and no change expected across the day and until tomorrow at 12 UTC. Expected maxima around 21, 22 Celsius, sunset at 2055 local time. So for tomorrow, still another day of very fine weather, and just some very high cirrus during the morning, but not affecting anyway the weather. We will see more in details in the next hours with the latest forecast soundings, the possibility of some cumulus, so something a little bit more active in comparison to today. And for the people flying here locally, another good day, most of Sunday, some more cumulus and an increase of maybe cloudiness in the evening. So this is a resume for tomorrow. Good weather, Sunday as well. And if you have any questions, please.
There'll be cumulus over the mountains, over the higher relief?
For today, I think mostly not. Or very shallow, very sparse, very isolated. So if we look at the models and at the thermodynamic diagrams deriving from the models, no cumulus or very few. Okay. So, anything else? Okay, enjoy your flights, enjoy your day, be safe, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Ronald. No, non serve. Se vuoi, se ti piace l'idea. Ok, fai vedere. We will show you top task forecast sheet downloaded by Gianni. You want to say something about it?
Yeah, just 1 second.
Experience says that in such condition, usually very high in the mountains, there will be isolated cumuli.
This is Valtellina. Well, you will fly most of the day, and top task says you will have some isolated cumuli, 1-2 octaves, just to be. And top task is always very generous with cumulus, so it will be around 1 octave of cumulus.
Thank you, Gianni. So next page of the briefing. Let's talk about altitude limits once again with special remarks about the last leg. Altitude limits, absolute altitude there is tolerance, all the other limits there is no tolerance for airspace horizontally or vertically. QNH today 1016 and mostly stable during the day. So let's clarify, as this is the object of the protest, the official protest we have received. As I said on the briefing at the opening, on the training day, there is an altitude limit over all the length of the last leg. So today, following the protest, we clarified this also explicitly in the task sheet. You will notice that there is a minimum reporting altitude of 500 meters, which is exactly the same as the finish line today, as we are coming from the west. You cannot fly below that minimum altitude anywhere during the last leg. Is there a question?
Even though you got to climb...
No, there is still that exception. If you find yourself too low and you really need to climb in order to make it to the finish line, personally, as we have already decided, I will not change my decision. That is the exception. If you're low, at low speed, of course, and you stop for climbing, it's okay.
So
if you're flying high speed, that means you do not need to climb, but then it's your responsibility to stay above that limit. Luciano? Without going into the topic of the protest, okay?
No.
Okay.
Just a question.
Tell me.
Why it will be right on the task sheet starting from today, not starting from the first competition day?
Why? Because today there was a protest which clarified that maybe the pilot did not know it, but that's going into the protest and I don't want to do it now.
It's only information for the pilots.
Yeah. There is one more information. I did not change my mind at all. I only clarified, and that's what I heard, what I said, and I heard my voice say, I clarified that.
No, io volevo dare una risposta.
What do you mean by high speed? What does it mean?
There
If
is
I enter
thermal speed.
Thermal, I don't know, 150 kilometers per hour along the
It's
last
okay.
leg. It's a high speed.
No,
or
if you stop
what
for
is a high
thermal,
speed, let me say.
if you need to climb, I will see you climbing at a decent rate. You're looking for a climb. You're not flying straight towards the end, and you're flying slower than 270
You know,
kilometers
if
per
I
hour or
could fly
250.
300 kilometers per hour. I need to climb.
Yeah.
My instrument says, this is a good
No.
air. I make a 360.
If you are a
degrees
bit too
turn.
low, if you are below the minimum altitude over the leg,
Before
during the leg, the whole final leg, that's about 10 kilometers more or less. If you are below that altitude and you have 120 kilometers per hour, which is your best glide, it means you cannot pull up and you cannot be higher than that. If you have more speed than that, you can pull up and you can stay above that limit without pushing that much. I think that's finished, Luciano. Okay? From today, we are talking. Okay, you can say whatever, but this is about today. Okay? Today. Let's not talk about the other day. This is about today. 500 meters on the last reporting point, 500 meters on the finish, 500 meters all the way between the two.
Now it's clear.
Thank you.
And just about mathematics and limits, it's
Non credo
absolutely unnecessary to stand that the limit at the finish point is the same of the limit at the last task, because the limit is an horizontal line. I cannot give you two different limits.
But that's something
it.
about
That's
the
why it's
program,
not
how it
written.
works.
It was not
It's
written
okay,
on the
Gianni.
task.
The important is it's clear for today. Yesterday is a different thing. There are papers and people will take the decision. I have made mine. Next page, thank you. Finish line geometry, unchanged. 250 meter radius, half a kilometer length. Please remember it's on the grass part of the airfield. The tarmac is essentially outside of the finish line. Absolutely nothing. Always the same finish line. Nulla di nuovo.
Presume if there's two gliders coming back together,
Yeah.
and you have to avoid the other glider.
Yeah. Can't you avoid it by slowing a bit down? Yeah. That would be best. I cannot do anything. If one glider doesn't allow you to get into the finish line, you have to go into the finish line somehow. The what? I don't think I have it for the moment. Quella di Gianni, we can show it again. Okay. The Google Earth image of the finish line on the airfield.
So the spectacular is much more.
It will take a while. What does it say, the next page of my briefing, in the meantime? Frequencies, nothing changed, okay? You know this? And Gianni is working to show you the finish line, which is totally unchanged. There is no change, non è cambiata la linea finale. Ciao. Se vuoi accomodarti, fai pure.
Just give me 1 second, please.
Just,
Okay.
just one thing more to the finish line, more like this. I think we all agree in it that this is made by rules,
Yes.
but it's not as safe as it was before with the finish ring or a bigger finish line. This is just something to say.
Yeah, I am nothing against it. Nothing against it.
So this is So this is the finish line coordinates, the red spot. Visually, it has been placed there because there is a 250 radius from the end of the tarmac we used to take off and this point. Plus there is another 250 meters on the lake. So visually, if you glide up over the trailers or over the grass, today you will come back from west. That means if you fly over the woods and if you point at your trailers, you will absolutely take the line. Of course, if you fly over the clubhouse or the street or the swimming pool, you will not get it. Just
The
with
roofs are
visually,
out.
okay.
The roofs are out, the windsock and the trailers will guide you to the correct finish.
The tarmac is the limit of the goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next page of my briefing. today's start altitude. It's start in Laveno with a maximum altitude of 2,000 meters. The line is the usual 5 kilometers. And please remember the maximum speed, ground speed, take wind into consideration of 170 kilometers per hour. And once again, finish altitudes 500 meters from the west. Landing circuit, absolutely nothing changed, sempre il solito, always the same. Bring us the tracking device. Thank you very much for cooperating. And I think that's all for me, except we now show you the task for today. It's a good idea, isn't it? And we kindly oblige. Okay. As you have heard from the forecast, the day will, the thermal activity, convective activity will not be very long. For the club members, I will say a few words in Italian. La giornata è piuttosto buona, in particolare nelle Alpi francesi, in the French Alps will be very good today, and e anche verso la Bolzano, la Valpusteria, also to the very far northeast. Unfortunately, it's too much for a competition task, but it will be very good for club members. It will be much slower, you will proceed probably slower in the lower part of the task area. So it will be a little difficult at the beginning of the flight to reach the higher mountains. That's why we set a reasonably conservative task of 323 kilometers, and we expect you probably for a first launch at 1 o'clock, not sooner than that. You have plenty of time to get ready today. I expect the start line will be open more or less at 2:15, probably even a bit later, I don't know, we will check it. And it's quite a simple task. You will fly into the higher mountains and you will go to Passo Maloja, the third turning point, which is in view of the airport of Samedan. We don't have Samedan airspace. We do not have Samedan airspace in the file, but there is a CTR in Samedan. So if you fly over Maloja, it's okay. Yeah. And that's all. Cento Valli, the last point, and then the reporting point in Gavirate. Beware of the airspace of Milano, southwest of the area there. Beware of the airspace, which is a few hundred meters, 300-400 meters from the ideal line connecting the center of the reporting point to the finish line.
Can you zoom in the starting line, please?
Zoom in the starting line.
Does it enter? No.
No.
Nowhere the start line enters the lower altitude, which is also
the
some.
distance between the right side of the airspace?
It's about
4 hands.
700 meters.
10 hands.
Less than 1 kilometer. Less than one.
Okay.
700, because it's total is 5 kilometers.
It's probably less than 700. It's probably 500 or 400. It's quite close to the altitude limit here, 1,676, very high level. To flight level 85 here.
2007.
Huh?
2700.
2007 or 800 meters, flight level 95. Yeah?
95, level 95.
95, okay.
2700 meters.
More than that, more than, okay. Do you have any question about the task? Should I say something else, Gillian? Okay. Any questions about the task?
Results?
Ci fai andare a Maloja a guardare i 4.000 metri e poi dopo...
I know. There is a probability that you will go very close to the excellent areas in Maloja or in Valtellina, where you might see clouds at 4,000 meters. I don't know.
3,500.
But anyway, you know, it's a GP competition. I have to compromise. Yeah, it's not a 150-kilometer task today. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Just one question.
Yeah.
Can you please check before you release us to go? Can you check if the Maloja pass is okay?
I will. And we are setting also an alternative task, which we did not prepare totally, but we are starting.
We are expecting relatively low cloud
I will check that. Thank you.
And Maloja is high, so if we have a base of 2,000 meters,
Interesting remark. I will study that. I will go into it. Okay?
This is the forecast over Maloja Pass.
this is the
It's enough. It's enough for you or need something more.
But also in north of Valtellina.
Should be. Should be above 3,000. Should be. But we will check. We will check with webcams. Okay? Thank you. Is that all? Any questions? Grazie. Ah, chocolate. Chocolate for everyone. Chocolate. E il tasto vuoi? Il tasto stampato lo vuoi?
Questo?
Scusami?
Dove sono i temi?
Eccoci qua.
Guarda che no.
No, lascia stare. Non girare.